Don't look now, but was this Jonathan Kuminga's best game in a Warriors uniform? Last night, facing the Los Angeles Lakers in a crucial game in the standings, Jonathan Kuminga displayed his athleticism and his finally blossoming intelligence of the Warriors offense. And in today's video, we're going to dive right into what I believe Jonathan Kuminga did to have what I think is his best game of this entire season. So let's roll the tape. In this first clip right here, we have Steph Curry initiating the offense. As we play the clip a little bit more right here, we're going to see he's essentially going to be guarded by Rui Hachimura, and Kuminga is going to kind of come up to the top of the key, and they're essentially going to do a handoff here. The Lakers are going to have Dorian Finney-Smith guard Steph Curry, and it's a better matchup, so it makes a lot of sense for what they're doing here. And essentially right here, they're going to try to double. They tried to do this all of last night, but this is early in the game, and they just don't want Steph Curry to get a rhythm. And early, it was clear to Steph Curry that this was the type of game where he's going to be passing a lot, at least early. This leaves Jonathan Kuminga wide open at the three-point line. Traditionally, the Lakers' defense is going to prioritize not guarding non-shooters. So essentially, players like Jonathan Kuminga, players like Guy Santos are essentially going to be left wide open. And so as we play the clip a little bit more right here, you see Steph Curry makes the obvious pass to Jonathan Kuminga, and Kuminga doesn't really hesitate at all. He doesn't even look for Moses Moody, which was a potential option. He looks downhill and wants to essentially exert his pressure on this defense. And they're not really in good position right here. Dorian Finney-Smith kind of tries to get in front of him, but Jonathan Kuminga is probably the most athletic player out of all of these players that are on the court, and so he's able to get right by DFS and finish at the basket. And those types of easy layups weren't something that are available to the Warriors without somebody like Steph Curry. In fact, Jonathan Kuminga is probably the only person on this entire roster who can make moves like that. Here, a little bit later in the game, we're going to have Guy Santos, who's going to set a screen onto DFS and essentially try and get Kuminga open. What you see in this play right here is Guy Santos is just going to kind of go right out, kind of do a fake screen, which leaves Gabe Vincent in kind of an interesting position here. He's on essentially the right side of the court where Kuminga is driving to the left side, and it's a tough recovery just because he has to make sure to honor Guy Santos and make sure that DFS can get back. But Jonathan Kuminga, even when he's level with the defender, he's just way too fast and too athletic, and he's going to finish that every time. And DFS actually accidentally puts his hands on Jonathan Kuminga, causing this to be an and one type of play. And these are the types of plays we can get with Jonathan Kuminga. That layup looked easy. He's smiling right here, looking good, showing off his pearly whites. But that's the type of play that the Warriors need sometimes. Those easy baskets where we don't have to fight and run a lot of action to actually create. Here I want to showcase Jonathan Kuminga's athleticism. So he's guarding out on the perimeter by Luka, and then he's going to come in and kind of crash for the board. We have Bordy right here in Pods, who's just an elite rebounder. But right here, Pods isn't going to get this rebound. The only person on the court who really has a chance at getting it over DFS is Jonathan Kuminga. And he skies super high, and right there you just see the athleticism. Dorian Finney-Smith probably reached about here. Jonathan Kuminga's head was probably just slightly above the rim, showcasing his athleticism and his elite skills that if we can harness as a Warriors team, can really change the landscape of what we're doing as a team, just because his athleticism provides a different dimension. Right here on another clip, we have Guy Santos, who's going to pass it out to Jonathan Kuminga in an advantageous position. Austin Reeves comes shooting over from the other side of the court because he realizes Kuminga is wide open. Kuminga utilizes this opportunity to go around, and you just see how much space this creates. He has to turn his back and basically sprint to recover because he knows how fast Jonathan Kuminga is. It also forces Dorian Finney-Smith to come into the play to make sure that he doesn't finish at the rim. It also draws LeBron James's attention and Luka Doncic's attention. So basically, drawing the eyes of the entire defense. And then right here, this is the knowledge I'm talking about the Warriors offense. LeBron James looks like he realizes that Looney's behind him, so he's going to try to guard him. But Jonathan Kuminga basically fakes the pass towards Guy Santos, looks at him, but is actually going to end up passing it to Moses Moody, which is a very alert pass because he realized, oh, hey, everyone's thinking I'm going to pass it to Guy, but instead I'll pass it to the better shooter in Moses Moody, which ends up obviously leading to a Moses Moody corner 3-point shot. Probably takes like 500 a day, it seems like, with that form so silky soft, and he ends up making it. In this next play right here, we have Jonathan Kuminga, who's going to be guarded by LeBron James. And this just kind of showcases his athleticism and ability. We all know LeBron James is a freak athlete. And we all know they also try to protect him on the defensive end, which is why DFS is essentially here in this driving lane. Gabe Vincent's kind of shading to this driving lane to prevent Kuminga from driving. But right here, Kuminga goes and tries to meet LeBron shoulder into chest without fouling, and tries to get around Dorian Finney-Smith as well. And he does a great job of this by essentially going with the low pickup, causing DFS to reach in and draw the foul. And this is an element I think learned from Jimmy Butler, but also he's done before, just because the importance of him drawing fouls, getting us easy foul line shots, and making those shots is super important. And it's an element that his athleticism can easily be used. Once again, here's kind of the understanding of the Warriors offense. So we have a fake screen by Kuminga on the right side, and then he's going to go over to the left, setting a screen to try and get Luka Doncic onto Steph Curry. This right here allows for essentially Kuminga to slip out. Look how far they are behind the three-point line. That's something only Steph Curry can do. This bounce pass then goes between the two players to Jonathan Kuminga, and they're putting him in an interesting position here. So obviously this is a 4-on-3 type play. So we have 3 Lakers defenders, and then we have 4 Warriors offensive players. If we see Jimmy Butler, Kevon Looney, Moses Moody, and Jonathan Kuminga. So this puts Kuminga in a decision-making position. He has to make the right decision to lead to a basket. Do I pass it to Looney over the top? Do I pass it to Moody at the top of the key? Or do I give it to Jimmy Butler, who seems like he's being guarded pretty closely by DFS? What he does here is magnificent. He draws the attention of LeBron to make sure that he can't recover to someone like Looney, and then realizes there's no help defense at the rim. So he drops it off, this adept bounce pass right here towards Kevon Looney, which leads to an easy dunk and leads to 2 Lakers falling right into each other and hitting the ground, which is just awesome to see. Him using his decision-making capacity to really change the game and change how the Warriors operate. If he's able to master the short roll, which is the position that was happening right there, the Warriors are really going to have a championship contending team. Right here, we have a play ran specifically for Jonathan Kuminga. Buddy Hield's going to essentially fake a screen onto Gabe Vincent to try and get Luka Doncic into this action. Try to get Luka Doncic guarding Jonathan Kuminga. And essentially here, Gabe Vincent's going to stay on Jonathan Kuminga, and Luka is going to kind of shade towards Buddy Hield, but also continue to guard the driving lane a little bit. LeBron James realizes, oh, hey, I'm supposed to be guarding Kevon Looney, so I'm just going to sit here in the lane and try to prevent Jonathan Kuminga from actually finishing at the basket. So Jonathan Kuminga does a nice job of kind of keeping straight up and down and not flailing his arms. He's really bad at this early in his career, but by just putting his shoulder in and then pushing it back and not pushing off on Gabe Vincent, he makes it so that he's not drawing the offensive foul. And this play just kind of showcases his smarts. Even Gabe Vincent kind of realizes, hey, he didn't foul me. Everyone realizes, hey, he didn't foul me. And that's important because his smarts are going to be what carries him in the playoffs and gets him consistent minutes and closing minutes. Right here, we have Jonathan Kuminga on the defensive end. He's going to kind of shade towards Luka Doncic, helping out Steph Curry, which they did all of last night because Steph Curry isn't the best defender in the world. So they're going to have to help him versus bigger players like Luka Doncic. And so Luka kicks it right out to Rui Hachimura, who had a great night last night. And he's going to essentially drive here, realizing that Guy Santos kind of just tried to block the pass to Austin Reeves and wasn't really guarding him straight up. He dribbles towards the rim, and Jonathan Kuminga realizes he's coming up to kind of finish this ball. Guy Santos does a nice job of staying straight up and down, not fouling, which he didn't do a lot last night. He fouled a crap ton last night. But still, Jonathan Kuminga is able to go up. And honestly, that looks like an easy, light day's work for Jonathan Kuminga. And that's important, I think, just because of who the Warriors have on the court. They're essentially playing super small with Jonathan Kuminga and Jimmy Butler offering basically the backline help. And if his ability to block shots is there, then that gives the Warriors a different look, which I'd love to see in the playoffs or versus other teams. Essentially, what I'd call that is ultra super small ball, essentially, with the Warriors having the largest player be Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga. Right here, once again, the smarts of the Warriors offense. Jonathan Kuminga is going to be setting a screen onto Austin Reeves, trying to get Luka Doncic to essentially meet Steph Curry at the top. Austin Reaves is essentially forced with and tasked with chasing over, but this leaves him in a bad position on Jonathan Kuminga. He's trying to get around the screen while also guarding Jonathan Kuminga and realizes that he doesn't have a chance. Now, this is an incredible play by Jonathan Kaminga. I think he honestly got fouled here, but Austin Reaves does a nice job of staying kind of up and down, and he's going to go right into Austin Reaves and finish over the top, and does a good job of kind of having the eyes behind his back to block LeBron James from actually blocking the crap out of him and finishing that shot, which was at a critical point in the game and really showcased his ability to finish one-on-one in favorable matchups, which is going to be super important. And with that in mind, guys, thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe if you want to see more Jonathan Kuminga content or just more Warriors content in general. Thank you for watching.